number 2 is underway. If DZ wins, they are off for the rest of today. They wait for the victor of TSM versus SSG in the grand finals tomorrow, and they would have a 1-map advantage as well. TSM banning Maverick. He is a standard ban on Clubhouse. Usually 1 hard breacher is banned here, maybe even 2, but no, Capitao is taken out. DarkZero does not want to deal with him, which is funny because DarkZero was so proficient with Capitao on console. It just goes to show you that teams like to change up which operators they bring into their operator pool depending on the map. Another quick one for DZ is they'll take care of Valkyrie, leaving the very final defender to be banned by TSM, and they don't need to think twice about it. Is it going to be Wamai? No, it's Mira. So no Mira available.
All right, so we've got our bans all done. The Capitao ban makes a lot of sense considering what we saw in map number 1, although it is DarkZero to ban out the Capitao. It looks like they're just trying to get rid of a tool they think is useful in general. Smart stuff, though, all the same. All right, we're getting into the first site. It'll be bottom floor. Got Mute being brought out. Lesion. So the Lesion's going to be because Dirt Tunnel primarily. I know a lot of people might be surprised by a Lesion pick. We see it occasionally, but not as commonly as he once was. He's really good on the Dirt Tunnel, preventing that push, which is oh so common. And I can see like there's a lot of control as a priority for the defense right now with their operator selection. Denying the droning is a huge priority, as you can see as well, which is kind of an older style, but one that still makes sense. Still works out very well.
This has all the makings of your very typical Clubhouse roam defense, where you open up the hatches inside a weight room. You play off of that. You've got the hatch as well open in construction, as is shown on your screen. Castle's going to waste all of their utility, and then you'll waste lots of time. Drones will be caught by either the Mute Jammers or the Mozzie Pests. It will deny a significant portion of the map from being discovered by DarkZero, and DarkZero's drone work has been impeccable so far over the last 2 days. So it's going to take about 1.5 to 2 minutes for DZ to be able to discover the locations of these players from TSM. And we'll see what kind of engagements TSM is going to take. In terms of opening duels, the community poll was more of a popularity contest than it was grounded in reality, and unfortunately, history repeats itself. Hot and Cold takes out Achieved very early on. I don't know if he was trying to peek or not, or if he just got red as he was going for the vault and garage, and he's taken out inside of CCTV. Already DarkZero with an advantage, and they've been so much better than TSM on their opening duels so far in this series. Only 3 opening wins for TSM in comparison to 8 for DarkZero on the previous map. Make that 9 now with this round as well.
Now, for a limited time only, you could support the Rainbow Six Pro teams with 30% of the net revenue split equally amongst the Phase 3 teams for the Phase 3 pilot program skins. They look fantastic as well. Make sure you check them out. You saw that advert on the screen just a little bit ago. Those do cycle in and out, so once they're gone, so be careful about that. Now, in this round, that early pick, quite important for DarkZero. They've been getting a lot of unanswered early picks as well. That's the really rough part about that. And that's on the Mozzie upstairs, as you mentioned, as just talked about, I'm sure, at length. The control is established. I'd say it's decently efficient here. We've got 1 minute left. No real drops opened right now, though, for DarkZero. The only advantage they have solidly is the fact that they've got top floors control. The first and the second, but not that bottom floor. They're going to need to start working on that. Again, only a minute is not as much time as I would like. Generally, you're going to want to have more than that, but you do what you can with what you have.
Located by attackers.
Yeah, it's not exactly the situation that DZ wants, or TSM rather, want to find DarkZero in, but DZ will need to be very, very quick about this one, and they'll try to stop the X-Kairos from going off. Maybe they'll get it this time. All they need is, I think, just 1. But it appears that every single bout of that X-Kairos went onto the single hatch. Finally gets opened up, and DZ's pace has increased significantly as there's only 20 seconds to go. They're going to be fighting against the clock. Here is DarkZero of 2 members now over by blue. They'll confront Merc head on. Chala finds the first kill for TSM. Shotgun out. And Merc is ready, prepared, waiting, but 2 kills from DarkZero. It's a split push of the Hibana from Skies needing to emerge from dirt. It's all on Geo to try and save this one as he's trapped down by Arsenal. He heads on over, 2 kills, and Hyper can't plant in time, and TSM wins it because of the clock. They had no business winning that round whatsoever, but Hyper, with the Legion mine in his foot, unable to plant in church.
That is about as rough as it gets, losing a round to a Legion trap. I cannot, man, imagine what a tough blow there to DarkZero. They looked like they had solid control. I mentioned it in the first 2 minutes of the round. Time was a serious factor there. DarkZero were a little bit behind where I'm sure they expected themselves to be. And in the end, it comes down to 1 player left alive on TSM and a Legion trap in a foot. It's just so rough. Now, TSM does get the round, and that's all that matters for them. They'll go to Cash for their next defense. The overall execution there for DarkZero was, you could see, I want to say, like, probably... I think it's like a known quantity. I think once DarkZero cleared out upstairs, they knew exactly what they were getting themselves into. They knew exactly where their hard destruction was going to go, the hurdles they were going to have to jump over. Seemed refined is the way I'd put it. Again, if just a few more seconds were left in the round, I think DarkZero probably had that. Or I don't think they had that. They certainly had that with maybe 5 more seconds to just take the engagements there. Geo was in the middle of a reload, for heck's sake.
Upstairs to Cash and CCTV, and man, frustration obviously from DarkZero after that previous round. Merc going for a spawn peek shows that TSM is still taking the same gambles that they've taken before. Merc in particular is going to be quite important, and if there's any impact tricking going on, it's going to be in his hands. Echo will be responsible for stopping any of the hard destruction on the double panels in the A-bomb site that lead into construction. That's just to open up the barricade so Sophia can stun the bandit off the wall. EMP to get rid of the battery. Stuns to deny the tricking. Thermite to open the wall. Mission accomplished. Lots of utility, yes. Lots of time, certainly. But that's, you know, what you got to do. You could Maverick trick the wall, but it's somewhat dangerous. And since Maverick's banned, it's not an option. And the only other real play there is for Hibana to try for it, and yeah, no. So they get the job done. Well done. There goes an Echo's Yokai drone, gets snatched right back up by Merc, so he's going to sit one in his pocket and play this really tight angle towards the CCTV window, leading out to the balcony. If he gets pressured from that angle, he's going to be in a good spot. DZ's focus is now shifted over towards construction as they've done the job that they needed to open up the CCTV wall. So they'll have to tackle the Echo, who will be sitting there waiting to impact trick any of that hard destruction. And this once again plays back into, as you noted, the Maverick ban, because the exothermic charges, the X-Kairos, they're going to get taken care of. The good news for DarkZero is they still have 1 EMP. So if Bolo isn't able to bandit trick, he's still got 2 batteries in his pocket, so he's able to do that if he gets close enough. They have the impact grenades for added measure. And there they go. It takes out 2 of the X-Kairos, flashing in, and most of those flashes seem to have missed, and Bolo will hang on for the time being. There goes another set of X-Kairos, well played by the second impact, and it's opened up some of the wall. Down goes Merc to a great angle from Hot and Cold. He's outside, waiting to burst on into CCTV. Eclipse falls to Bolo and back to a 4v4 with 40 seconds left, but the round appears to be heating up. Bolo decides to peek around the bomb chassis and he gets punished for it. So DarkZero will begin to get more confident in their approach. The smoke caught out and Chala's down now. Bolo has not been picked back up. Achieved is down below. It's all on his shoulders. 25 seconds left. Bolo cleaned up. Achieved will need to clutch this. He finds Skies thanks to the pings. Takes him out. Diffuser now in the hands of Hot and Cold as the Chief will sprint up the stairs, but he won't make it past the top of Red. DZ cleanup. Something they couldn't do in round number 1, and these teams will find themselves tied up at 1 apiece. A major factor there was time. DarkZero were much better at being efficient with their execution. They got that wall open by server and they rotated. I love that they didn't waste any time with the garage. DarkZero is well aware that would have been a massive problem for them had they committed to the play. Instead,
They fully commit to server wall and the construction take. Works out well for them as they push on in through the doorway. The reason it works out well for DZ, though, mostly comes down to the way TSM decided to play that. There were many fights taken there by TSM that they really... that could work. We can call them gambles. Some call them 50-50s. Fights that could work, but are unlikely to. Or like 75-25s, to be honest. But... yeah, it works out well for DarkZero. They're holding the angles. They're ready for the fights. They're expecting TSM to try and scrap their way out of it. And DarkZero picks up a multitude of entries over by the cache bomb site. So well done. TSM will try this again. They'll come back to the very same site. See if they can change their fate here. I love another thing. There's one other thing about DarkZero's execution that I have to give praise to. The Maverick tricking of the wall has become so bog standard nowadays. Like, it's so expected you're going to Maverick trick the server wall. And the fact that DarkZero isn't missing a beat when the Maverick gets banned and they're bringing out the Thermite, the Zofia, the Thatcher to get the wall open. And they've still got that well refined in their head from when that was the meta to do every single round. It speaks of a deep strat book, a deep understanding, and it's good stuff.
Absolutely. And there's another... okay.
Right.
DarkZero, opening pick. Yet again, 3 in a row. That makes 11 opening duels in favor of DarkZero to 3 for TSM.
Jeez.
So... and the other thing that we need to keep in mind is the one thing I don't actively keep track of is how quickly that's refragged. All it is that, hey, they got the immediate first kill. Now, 11 of those means that they get the first kill, but some of those could have been coming in the final 20 seconds, could have come with 30 seconds left, or they got the first pick and immediately TSM responds and gets 2 picks of their own. That's something that, you want to delve deeper into, and that's something that I'm sure Jesse can probably reference. I'm sure there's some setting on his graphing calculator for him to be able to take care of that. But
I can certainly say in this match that TSM have been extremely delayed in their response to DarkZero's initial entry kills. We've seen numerous rounds where it becomes 5v4 early, thanks to DZ getting the entry, and then it lingers there for the majority of the round. It's been pretty rough for TSM on those early engagements.
Heavy pressure now inside a garage as Geo will see the magnets get used out as all the flashes dumped on in. There's still 2 charges, at least 1 charge rather, on the ADS that is right in front of him, and he'll need to be very accurate with those shots. He decides to head on down. He gets a kill on the hot and cold, but he looks the wrong way. Collapsed upon and sandwiched by the 2 members of DZ who had just barged into that garage, and they now have the control of it that they'd wanted. Immediately going back onto drone with a minute left, give or take. It's plenty of time for them to be able to work through this. Whether DZ will continue to hold that position is anybody's guess. TSM will now try to weather the storm with sitting very securely on the bomb site. They're not really all that well spread out. Just off site is Chala, who will wait very patiently. Both Bolo and Merc are inside of Cache. So the smoke is going to be the only line of defense for what will likely be a B take given the silhouettes. And a frag grenade goes in and it misses. It hits the metal wire and bar in front of Chala and does no damage whatsoever. Another toxic canister goes out. Fight will have to come into the hands of the L85. Down goes Bolo, but Eclipse. There's Merc 2, and it's Chala in a 1v3. He used to be on this team ages and ages and ages ago, but he's not going to be able to accomplish all that much. He takes out Mint, but then he's traded off, and DarkZero finds their 2nd round in a row.
TSM losing control no matter where the fight decides to find them. I love that DarkZero adjusted their strategy. Pardon me. They went for a garage take instead of a construction take. And that, I think, definitely changed how TSM would hold in that round. Generally, when you see an execution come out and you repeat the site, you expect it to be the same execution from your opponent. So if I'm TSM, I defend cache, and it's a server construction split, I expect that again the second time when I go cache right after. But now, what's this? DarkZero going for a server garage split, and it works out just as well as the previous execution.
defenders. Protect your bombs.
all the planning that I would have put in for that cons hold or cons delay or whatever on that side is now out the window, and I need to immediately in the middle of the round adjust my defense to hold on to, or at least delay the push from Garage. The TSM really being pushed to their limits here by DarkZero's strap book. Well played to DZ. I'd say there were some really big shining lights there. I love that Geo went for that aggressive play. He knew he was a dead man walking on the rafters. He went for the vault. He took the fight. He got a 1-for-1. That is great awareness from Geo. And it might look like an extremely dangerous play for a lot of people, and I understand that. But he was going to die anyway on those rafters. There was no other real option. He made the right decision, and he gave his team a fighting chance, though it wasn't enough in the end. And one thing to highlight as well is you could, I think most people could clearly see there, TSM, while playing in the site, were playing very far back, very subdued. And it was mostly because of, again, that early frag and the lack of a refrag, or lack of a trade back, a lack of any real presence there from TSM in the early engagements.
I think lack of presence is really the defining characteristic of TSM so far today. They are not the team that showed up yesterday.
Certainly.
I know that fans of DZ will take some umbrage with that and say, oh, well, you know, you're not crediting DZ for that. DZ's a fine team, don't get me wrong. They're a very strong team. Nobody needs to doubt them. And DZ have looked much better than I think that we've come to expect from them. At the same time, it can also be true that TSM is a little bit asleep at the wheel right now. And I think TSM are having some difficulties. Need we remind everybody that because they won the lower bracket matchup against OXG yesterday, Space Station, your defending world champions, they're going to be playing the loser of this matchup. Could they possibly play against a demotivated or tired TSM team? That could be a boost for them, setting up an SSG DZ rematch tomorrow. Or are they going to play DarkZero, setting up a rematch immediately? We'll find out. It's a church defense downstairs, though, for TSM. They're going to ride it out. They have not surrendered a pick early, and they've changed up the composition from the last time they defended this site. They're not going for the heavy roam upstairs. They are instead staying for more of a static anchor-heavy style defense. And a lot of this jostling is going to come around the way that they watch that kitchen hatch. Hot and Cold just takes matters into his own hands, almost finds the second, and does! As he cuts through the heels of Achieve, 2 kills for DarkZero. And Houghton is proving his worth on a role that usually isn't engaged in those early firefights. He's silenced by Merc, but still the advantage for DarkZero with a minute to go. And it's peeled back most of the operators from TSM off of the bomb site, leaving just a yokai to stop the plant should one go down in the B bomb site.
That's what I was talking about in map number 1. DarkZero just decide they want to make a play, and they go for it. Hot and Cold, he was peeking through impact holes to try and kill Bolo, who was impact tricking. And boy, howdy, did he get him, and then some. Achieved, also trying to assist. He had to fall back. He got caught in that rotation. It's a good thing that Merc was there to get the refrag at the very least. The drop's coming out here from DarkZero. Eclipse is in position to get the plant. There might be a yokai drone to deny him, though. He'll start going for it after picking off Geo on the entry. Here's the yokai. Oh, no! Unfortunate. The yokai goes onto the floor, and it's not even going to matter in the end. DarkZero rush in. They do not pin all their hopes on that defuse plant with an echo in play. Smart play there from DarkZero, and they'll take yet another round.
Tell me that Hot and Cold turning in his chair and clapping. Can we replay that? Do you have access to do that production? The Hot and Cold turns and claps at the camera. That's going to be in a video. That's going to be in a video somewhere. Production, I don't know if you can do that.
I want to replay. I didn't get to see it.
It was cute. It was cute. They're working on it. So we'll hopefully have it soon.
Cool.
Everybody likes that Dream does the clap. But Hot and Cold's clap was kind of cute as well. So we'll have it there. He pivoted in his chair and he looked and he did a little bit of a golf clap. So
nice.
Attack on Clubhouse right now, decidedly DZ's favor. They have taken 3 of the first 6 rounds, and there are still 2 more to go. They can continue to stat pad, and this might end up being a relatively quick match. Now, every single time we say that, it ends up being a longer match than we'd expected. So I've just jinxed it effectively, and I hope that people aren't eager for a quick one, because TSM really need to show up right now. The problem with defending on Church the way that they did, and we've seen teams fall victim to this before, is that if the attackers are given enough time and they can pull off the hard destruction really well, you find that you can't really go anywhere as a defender. If you're playing inside a church and the moto hatch is gone, you can't really rotate out of moto because you're afraid you're going to get picked off from above. Additionally, if they're attacking from the bottom of main stairs and they've got maybe the church wall opened up, or they're trying to get the church wall opened up, you have to aggressively swing through moto, whether the hatch is open or not, to try and take out one of the attackers playing off that wall. Now, all of that, of course, is a bit different because what ended up happening is after Hot and Cold opened up that hatch, he killed 2 players that were sitting under the hatch, because I don't think they were expecting such an aggressive play. Most of the floor around that hatch and kitchen was shot open. That should have been an easy pick for the defense to try to take out Hot and Cold, and it looks like they attempted it, but they just missed it. And by allowing the Thermite to take out 2, one of which was the Kaid, who was trying to get back into church, you've lost a lot of your defensive power. You've lost a C4 that Achieved had in his hand, and ultimately it put you at a massive disadvantage. And you can tell that right now, TSM is not the most comfortable on this map, Michael, because their site rotation is literally just cache CCTV and then church arsenal. They are not trying for gym. They are not swapping things up. They're going back to the same bomb site after losing. And I think that's a big problem for them on defense.
I think it mostly comes down to, yeah, it's the losing, like you mentioned. Now, if you're not winning, then why would you rotate to what you as a team perceive to be an inferior bomb site, right? So that's probably part of what's going through TSM's heads right now. And, you know, honestly, again, the word I used earlier, the subdued nature of that style of play is very dangerous for TSM. And it's something that right now the assertiveness of DarkZero has, I think, really been the main focus for these last few rounds. Even that one round TSM managed to win. Remember that? That was... Boy, was that close. Could have easily...
You're talking about the first round, yeah?
Yeah, I'm talking about the TSM round. Yeah,
this could have very easily been... This probably should have been a 4-0.
Yeah.
If we're being completely honest.
Yeah, I think that this is really more a 4-0 than anything. But TSM, I mean, they got the round. That's all that matters in the end. And right now, we're still looking at DarkZero in the advantage.
So I don't know if you just saw that. Skies is completely at X. Kairos. Kitchen hatch will not be opened up unless there is an exothermic charge that was applied to it. We don't know. Hot and Cold's at 0. But the impacts worked quite effectively.
Oh, big kill here for Hot, and he'll get control of Blue, and he can turn that into church control if he stays alive. A retake from the Legion of Bolo, though, nets 2 kills. And as he gets Blue control, he gives his team hope. He'll be picked off from Skies and Dirt Tunnel, though. DarkZero not letting this one slip away just yet. Very little time here for DZ to go for the execute. They don't have diffuser, though. It's been downed inside of Blue, which means they need to go for frags. It's working out pretty well for them so far, though. The last player on the defense, Chala, inside of Church, his position known. He has to pick up 2. He has to delay, at least deny the plant, but it looks like it's going to be a plant and cover, and the cover works. Eclipse will get it, and DZ takes another attack round on the bottom floor.
No clap from Hot and Cold that time. Man, Bolo almost able to hold that together with his presence in Blue. And Hot and Cold cheekily heads through Blue. He had worked in that position with Hyper before on a previous take onto Church downstairs. And both members of DarkZero did an effective job of that. When teams position themselves the way that they do inside of Blue, they're usually leaving some of that triple panel from the generator in Blue leading into Church wall open. And you're going to use that to try and command those line of sights and be able to take engagements. As you could see, Chala was trying to do that from behind the bar inside of Church. He knew that there was a Thermite in that position. He tried to fire onto him, but it was Bolo who ended up swinging and getting the kill. So Blue control goes back in favor of TSM. Sky's in Dirt because he's now rotated after he had fallen off of Kitchen. It didn't work out effectively for him. He gets one pick, moves over to Dirt, and then immediately pressures and gets the refrag onto Bolo. Well done. And there you see defensive stronghold. TSM has a 7-2 record on their last 3 maps defending the Church bomb site. That's pretty good. And right now, they have won it once of 3 times. And like we said before, that was a very narrow victory and very easily could have been a DZ round. DarkZero have been absolutely beating the stuffing out of TSM so far today. And DZ are making quick work of this series right now.
They're looking pretty strong right now. Yeah, that's for sure. The TSM, on the other hand, seriously struggling here. Now, this is the thing. I'll be honest, I expected this for DarkZero. I did expect DZ to be on top of Clubhouse. The problem lies in the fact that TSM also lost Consulate. That's the unexpected result. DarkZero taking Consulate was a massive upset, I think. And it's the real kick in the pants here for TSM, because now they have to win on a map that, in my opinion, clearly favors DarkZero. You know, part of that is the prep work that DZ put into Consulate. I think that's pretty obvious. You look back on that and you could just see all of the information that they gathered on TSM's Consulate to directly counter them. You can see all the strategy that was set up specifically for their opponents. It's good stuff from DarkZero, and I'm sure it'll work for many other teams later in DZ's play. Right now, it's going to be server wall getting opened up. DarkZero have the control they want, and they're going to, well, I mean, transition to another part now, either garage or construction. It's really up to DZ at this point.
Last time around, they also took out the garage wall, and then they moved over to construction, and that was Geo who was feeling the heat. Now, TSM's defense last time also involved losing Achieved early, so if TSM cannot surrender an early pick, then they find themselves in obviously much better position, and that church wall is going to be tackled likely by the Hibana as it was last time, and will revolve around the impact tricking that's going to come out. Merc was on Echo and not necessarily a role that was well suited for him. He's going to be on a role with a much higher offensive upside in Vigil, less tasked with babysitting his gadget, more with just pure slaying. And he is right now on the main stairs, waiting to head on up towards the bathroom side of things. If there's a Claymore in place, he might end up having to deal with it. But he's going to hear the sounds of DarkZero above him, both Mint and Eclipse within arm's reach of one another, as it does appear to be construction as the focus. Bolo will impact Trick, and he gets one down. X-Kairos eaten, and that must be a point of frustration for Sky. Grenade in hand for Eclipse. It'll look to get tossed over. No, it's put back away. And there you go. Skies will be able to get it. Bolo will not impact Trick. Down goes Bolo, though. Eclipse just swings. Every single opening pick in this first half is DarkZero's, and they have a huge advantage with 30 seconds left.
Big pick there for Eclipse, and that's one of the anchors inside of A gone. Hot and Cold will vault in through server. Here comes the push through the rotation, too. And the player in Garage is unable to do anything. There's the second player in Cash eliminated. You can see Geo is looking for an angle, but no fight is being presented to him. As Eclipse gets yet another kill on the entry, it's just Merc and Geo. Merc will get Eclipse, that's big, and we're coming close to 0-0. The plant needs to go down, and it needs to go down now as Geo gets his first kill. He'll die in Garage, but there's still a chance here for Merc. As the post plant comes out, though, it's not looking very likely. Stuns to disorient and guns to kill. Mint will clean up the last frag there, and DZ takes one more round on the first half.
Would you say stuns out, guns out?
Yeah, stuns out, guns out, Parker.
Stuns out, guns out. 5-1 on attack for DarkZero. Masterfully done off of the backs of none other than Eclipse. Or just back of Eclipse, I guess. He's having an amazing day. He was great yesterday. He's great today. He's showing up and he's working with the team. But the one thing that I've noticed about Eclipse when he's playing on attack is that a lot of times his kills are coming mid-round or later. Yes, he's gotten the opening pick a handful of times, but more often than not, I see him step up and get hugely impactful kills through the mid-round. He's at 8 right now, which is an impressive tally. But other than that, it's one thing that we've pointed out about really good players in the past. Merc is somebody we've talked about that can do this. NJR on Disrupt was somebody as well. In this case, Eclipse is playing off of his own innate abilities and is doing a tremendous job of... I'm sorry, what is funny?
He's doing a tremendous job. It just can't be funny. It can't be serious anymore. It's just funny forever, Parker. I'm sorry.
I don't understand.
Oh, okay, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you about it later.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. He's doing a tremendous job.
Wheezed.
He's doing a tremendous job, Parker.
Yes, I know. I think I get what you're saying.
It can't not be funny anymore.
I know. The best job. Yeah, now I get it. Okay. At first I was like, no, he's not. I was like, he's not. And I was like, yeah, he is. All right.
What? I don't know what you're talking about, Parker. I don't know what you're talking about.
He has the best frags, Michael. Everybody tells him he has the best frags, okay? You know, I was reading a memo this morning from Zach, okay, and it said, Eclipse, you have the best frags. Nobody has better frags than you in the history of fragging.
Speaking of the fraggers on DZ, Hyper has fallen by the wayside as the rest of his team have been the ones to really be getting the kills in this series. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not a knock on Hyper. I think that mostly comes down to DarkZero really spreading the weight. And that's, in my opinion, a great thing to see. And also, as you mentioned, Eclipse as an individual stepping up significantly.
DZ has also been an outstanding team on attack. And while Clubhouse does tend to be a very defender-sided map, they were able to really shine and basically peel back the some of the advantages that you would find from this sort of map. So DZ doing what they do best on attack, we'll see how well they can do on defense, because that has been one of their bigger weaknesses so far, and TSM is a very aggressive team. As you've seen, they've managed to push DZ off, and yeah, DZ just scrambles back to the bomb site. Down below, TSM have some opening hatches. This was very clearly a semi-roam setup from DZ that has been foiled, but they managed to get away without taking a single lick of damage.
How did TSM not...
I don't know.
They had those two roamers dead to rights. I'll be honest, DZ pushed their luck a little bit there. They really shouldn't have gotten away, and they did. And all the better for it, because now, look at that. Eclipse is going to be able to impact trick. Actually, he wasn't one of the roamers, to be fair. It was Hyper and Mint. But still, Eclipse going to impact trick. The drop will be intact for a little bit longer. We're running out of time here. A challenge works out for both teams. As you can see, Hot and Cold will be killed off unless he can somehow manage to get away. He actually might be able to make it out of that because the sledge died on the aggressive play from the Vigil. This is a curious situation, but no, he'll be finished off. But it's an exchange. Down goes Merc, and he'll be finished by Eclipse. The aggressive play from Eclipse has been perfect this round, and it has somehow managed to maintain the advantage for DZ quite solidly. There's a retake from Skies and Hyper. They get 1 kill each, and it's just Bolo in the site. He'll have to find 3, but he's twisting in the wind. DarkZero get yet another round, and this looks like it's going to be a confident 2-0 at this point.
Goodness gracious, this one is fast. This is what TSM did to Oxygen. It was 7-1 for TSM, and now it is looking like a 7-1 is very likely for DarkZero as they work the more favorable side of the map. They'll go to Gym Bedroom next. That is a curious choice. It is a bomb site that we haven't seen just yet between these two teams. It's been a Cash and Church extravaganza so far. And TSM spending the first minute and a half. 3 different members of DarkZero, was it 3, 2 at most, maybe 3, slipping through the fingers of TSM on their entry. Failing to get an opening pick, failing to even do a tiny bit of damage so far. This is a very scary DarkZero team that seems to really be in their groove. And they are crushing a team that I think many people saw after yesterday as the major favorites. And with the match on the line, DZ breaks glass in case of emergency, and well, they bring out the clash.
I love the way you said that, because yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing here. Mint has been bringing clash to lock out rounds through this whole series. We saw it in the last map, final round of Consulate. Mint brings out the clash, and boy, did it work out well for Mint and DZ as a whole. He gathered so much information. The rest of his team was allowed to play off of that, and it looked pretty one-sided as a result. So the clash is a really nice little trick that DZ's got hidden up their sleeves, and you can expect they won't be able to use it for much longer. After this series, it's unlikely that they'll see... Oh, early damage done to Mint there. Just a pre-fire through the window and achieved will bring Mint down to about 50, 55. That's actually huge. That's really big. But anyway, to get back to my point, you can expect DarkZero to not be able to bring the clash in a reliable sense. It'll likely be... Someone will find a counter and they'll be like, okay, we know how to do this against DZ, and then the meta will continue to evolve. But for right now, in the major, it's working out well for DZ.
Like I said, DZ is just... This is a very scary DarkZero team, and well, I fear for their opponent tomorrow, I'll tell you that much. I don't really want to get ahead of myself here, but it certainly seems like the likelihood of TSM winning 6 rounds in a row, or at least 5 to send us to overtime, is virtually 0. And like we said, this clash is going to be the major impediment for them. What does TSM have to really deal with it? Well, the Zofia is going to be front and center as it was on Consulate, but really wasn't all that effective. And in fact, it was Mint who clutched the round out to give the map on Consulate to DarkZero.
Looks like some hard destruction there for TSM. They will get control of the bathroom, and that's going to force the defenders into a difficult position. That's an entry point too there from the Habana. He made a crouch hole. That's going to be a good entry. But at the same time, look at that shield this guy's got positioned there. He's covered from the windows by that little island in the middle of the site, just below your screen. And he's got coverage now from the breach, thanks to that shield. DarkZero's also got the clash to hold on to the hallway. This is a good setup to hold the push from the west side. But as that workshop wall gets opened up, things are actually looking okay for TSM. This is very doable. Hyper and Eclipse are going to need to hold on to that construction position to assist Hot and Cold, who will assist Mint, who will hold this defense together. An aggressive push actually nets 2 big kills for Skies, and that could just be it right there.
What a brazen play, and Skies looks for a 3rd, doesn't get it before being sat down by Merc on the window. A frag grenade will go on in, and no real damage done to Mint as he scoots off towards the top of main stairs. What a play by DarkZero, but Merc, he's got other ideas. He's not letting DZ shut this one just out just yet. He finds kill number 2, and now on the hunt is none other than Achieved. He'll have to try to press in towards Jim. He knows the clash is there. Bolo at arm's length. They'll try and isolate him, but Hot and Cold swings out 2 big kills. It's Merc in a 1v3 with a clash on the board. He's gonna get nothing. To the grand finals, DarkZero goes by a 7-1 scoreline. What a clobbering. Goodness, 2-0 DZ.
A clobbering is right, Parker. That was an absolute